So if you've seen one of my most recent videos, we took realistic motion capture and transformed it into something stylized and cartoony. That mocap was action-based, but can it work with an acting piece? Yes, it can.
You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you, and I cannot let that happen.
First thing that I did was record some dialogue for my piece. I then put on my suit and acted the scene out to my dialogue. After recording the mocap, it's time to put it onto our rig and start stylizing. To see how I attach my mocap to my rigs, check out this video that I made. So with my file all set up, I have my character referenced, I have my audio imported and lined up, and I have my character already baked to IK controls, which is what I personally like to use. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my time editor, and I'm going to play with some of the timing here before I really go in and fix poses. So let me select my body controls. I'm going to bring up the time editor and hit File, Add Animation from Scene Selection. I'm just going to trim it down to what my shot actually is. So let's go through. Something that we could play with is this kind of arm coming up, this move here. And this is a little bit trickier than what we were doing last time in splitting up. We need to be careful how much we speed up and slow down because we do have a walk, and that's going to make that walk a little janky. So we're just going to keep that in mind as we go forward. This right here. Basically, I'm just bookmarking some of these moments, like this arm coming up could be slightly faster. We can make maybe this a little snappier, and then we'll probably hold to compensate. There's not going to be too much retiming compared to our stylization in our action. That we could really push, and because we're doing dialogue here, this is even a little bit more difficult. So let's see what we could do. So I'm going to go into my scale mode. Again, that's R, or you could just go to edit and go down here to scale. And let's start playing with this. If we make that, it's about 20% faster. We'll hold that. We can even make that just a little faster. Maybe that was too much. It's feeling a little bit better. Timing's a little bit pushed. And this isn't going to be our final timing. As after this, we're going to go in and we're going to tweak it more. But this is just to give us a good basis. Okay. So that's feeling pretty good. Again, I don't want to push the timing too much because we need to be still true to our performance that we did. I think a lot of our timing and a lot of our pushing in the stylization is going to come after this. So let's take this. We're going to bake to scene delete. So I'm just going to select my body controls. And I'm going to bake this down to 2s. Great. If you get some weird flipping, like right here, ooh, that clavicle is going crazy. It's just because we scaled things out that we get some weird Euler filter stuff. So I'm just going to go to curves, Euler, and that should smooth that out. There we go. So analyzing my piece here, the feet and the root feel pretty good. That's feeling pretty good to me. It's not feeling too bad. The root we can maybe push a little bit, but we're gonna work from the inside out. So what I want to focus on is the spine and the root first. I'm not gonna worry about the arms. I'm not gonna worry about the head and the neck. I'm not gonna worry about the claves. I'm just gonna start with the spine. So let me grab my spine controllers as well as the root controller, and I'm gonna just create an animation layer for them, and let me label them. So some things that I think can happen right here, this is pretty tame. I think we could push this where we get a little bit more anticipation here. So before that leg is really starting, I'm going to set a key. I think down here, I'm probably going to push that spine down a little bit and get it up to this. And it can even recoil a little bit. It's going to blend into that stepping backwards. Now this turn here, we could definitely push the spine here. Really push how that curve is going to be as the arm comes up. Right now, this isn't a bad start, but we could really like lean him in as if he's really getting in this person's face. Because he's worried for this person, right? He's saying, you got to get out of here because I can't let them get you. So we need to bring that intensity to it. Right here, this little motion with, they're going to get you. That's a perfect opportunity for us to do a little anticipation and then emphasize that. And then he comes back up to standing. And then this is pretty tame at the end. We don't want everything to be too pushed. We need to make sure we have a rhythm with things. So let's start messing with this. So we want to do a little anticipation. So what's nice about a spine FK that I like to use is that you could really kind of do translation and rotation, and you could push this out just a little bit. Play with the root there. Going for a little bit of a reversal in curves. A reversal in curves is basically we have this C shape going like this, and now we're going to bring it backwards. It's going to give some visual interest. Now I know in our shot we're looking at it from the back, but it's still giving us enough info. And that's not bad, but it's a little kind of floaty. So now we could play with getting into these moments just a little bit sooner. And that could be just having the motion start sooner. Could be just not pushing this as much. I'm gonna play with this idea that the anticipation is actually going to lean just a little bit to the screen right and then come screen left as he comes in. Yeah. I like just kind of playing up this fact that this torso is just he's slowly turning as he's coming. Nothing too crazy. This is where it's gonna get fun in this motion. So I'm getting this kind of curve as he comes in, looking over his shoulder. Something that I'm doing, just when you compare, I'm pretty open here. I'm closing off the chest because what I'll probably do here is the head will turn. The head's going to be the leading factor, the motivating factor in this motion, because he's going to turn and it's going to bring that chest along, basically along for the ride. So delaying that, and it's going to get us a little bit more of that snappiness, right? Now, something that we were talking about is reversal of curves, reversing that C curve, right? So we've got this curve here. Right now, it feels like the same curve, so let's change that. It doesn't always have to be this like really grand like curve. It can be really subtle. And what I'm feeling here is actually that we're just snapping too much. So I'm actually just gonna delay. Probably leaning a little bit too much here. It's nice in a single frame, but in motion, it's a lot. It's a big move. The arm is really gonna sell that move, but if we could get that spine feeling nice, which I feel like it's feeling pretty decent now, that will just help when we go to the arms. Now, something that I want to keep in mind as we go, you see this kind of pose where we're looking at his torso. It's a very strange kind of thing, and I want to get the sense that he's this kind of macho, right? He's coming in to save this person, saying, you gotta go, like, listen to me, I know how to save you. So as he comes here, I want him to kind of puff his chest out just a little bit. Now, he's leaning back a lot, so I am going to bring that root back, but I want just this, macho, you gotta go. And then what that's going to give us is, again, we're like puffing our chest out, and then in the next frame, as we're getting closer, we're going to reverse that and get closer. So that's just something to keep in mind. Which is right here. It's feeling pretty nice. Puff that chest out just a little bit more. Then we're going to get into here. So I'm going to use this as like, never mind. So now we get into our kind of leaning kind of pose. So this is definitely where it's going to change up the most, I think. And it's going to be a little weird because the head we're not doing right now. So this is definitely, you gotta imagine this a little bit.
Those things out there, they're gonna get you. They're gonna get you.
Again, let's give that sense of macho-ness, right? Get that curve, puff that chest out.
They're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen. Things out there, they're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen.
And something to keep in mind. So, one thing that I kind of do here is I set up this frame, right? This puff the chest out. And what I do is I already had this keyed, but when I go to here, I'll use this tween machine. I don't want to copy it exactly. I want to ease into it because I don't want it to kind of feel like it hits a wall at all. And just that small little bit of ease, even in an animation layer, is going to help us.
They're gonna get you. And I cannot.
And something else that I'm going to keep in mind, and something else that I want to do is this last line. So he comes up and he kind of puffs his chest out. And the line is, I cannot let that happen. And I cannot let that happen feels like a vulnerable moment for him, right? He's like, I'm telling you, I know all this, but I can't lose you. And we don't have to change the pose too much. We could go from chest out, just as I had just acted. I chest out, and it's just a small little motion. We're acting within the pose, essentially. So we're not doing this and then go, but I can't. No. We're doing this, but I can't lose you. Very subtle, but it's going to be effective. So let's set that up. And I cannot is going to be our big one. I'm just going to copy that frame. I'm not going to tweak it yet because I want to figure out when he's going to come out of that motion. So probably around here. And I cannot let that, on the cannot is when that pose changes. So let's set a key. Now we could go to here. And let's just have him turn a little bit. He's literally opening up to this person in his dialogue where he's putting this facade on before, this macho facade, and he's going, but I cannot lose you. So this opening up a little bit in this rotation is also just a little, it's going to support that action and that feeling. Think about your acting choices, again, supporting the subtext to the dialogue. Sometimes the dialogue says it outright, sometimes it doesn't, and that's just something to keep in mind. It's really important. So let's just copy those keys. So you see where it feels like it kind of hits a wall there? This is where we're just going to ease this stuff out. I want to play with just kind of moving up and down a little bit. It's feeling a little stiff here. So let's just... So I'm just trying to layer in now just a little bit more motion. Some small subtle things here. Just again to help support the idea. So that's feeling pretty nice. Something that I want to do, we did our expressions before, just our simple expression. But now that we have this kind of final line here, I'm just going to key it very basically. So let's key here, and I'm just going to go back to my library, and let's make it afraid. Now all of a sudden he's afraid. We're going to kill this key at the end. We can delete that key at the end. Just to give us a good sense of his emotional state. Feeling pretty nice. So our spine feels pretty good. Let's move on to the head and the neck. I'm going to create an animation layer here. I'm just going to say head. And I don't want to bake down my spine layer just yet. I am going to bake it down later, but just in case we need to make some adjustments with the head motion that we're going to do, let's keep it there because it's much easier to fix here than it being baked all down. So let's just do the same kind of process here. It's like a weird drift going on. Is that? No. Weird drift at the end here. I'm just going to try and fix it. Feels better. We could clean it up after. Let's get him looking. So I'm looking out screen left because that's where he's pointing to, right? Maybe he's looking at a bunch of these creatures or something. And there's going to be, right now, the head is just really following that chest. So I want to just give a little bit of overlap as we come into this. So as we go down, the head's just going to drag a little bit here. something that I'll do is I'll try and set keys to go, yeah, that's where it is, but then I actually find out that it's not where I should be putting the keys. So I'll just kind of feel it out and then delete. So be looking over his shoulder here. Really want that head to be, again, like I said earlier, that like leading, motivating factor. So anything to get that head just moving a little bit before that chest does. There we go. This is the big change for us. Yeah, that's feeling kind of nice. Let's lag that head a little bit. Just trying to keep that sight line the same. And now I'm going to go in and just give that lag to the head, so as the body comes down, his head goes up a little bit. It's going to kind of come down. And because we have the dialogue, it allows us to actually use that as like a fun key or marker for our motion. So those things out there, like he could be doing, come on. So we could really just lag this behind a little bit. Out there, I really want to bring that head up. And be, there's things out there, like a little quick. Yeah, that's fun. And we don't just need to do rotate X. We could give him like a little bit of a, huh? So those things out. So this, if he's looking out in the side of his, side of his eyes, like this, it's going to be pretty powerful. That's just something that I'm anticipating on. And I think the I cannot let that happen.
Those things out there?
He's speaking really direct the whole time on the things that he knows and the thing that he's confident on. But when he's not confident, you should look away. Like, those things out there, they're gonna get you. And I can't let that happen. Because that's something that he's not usually saying. So let's build that in. So he's looking at the side of his eyes, right? Nice and strong. Just gonna.
And I cannot let that happen. Get you. And I cannot let that happen.
I think he's just rotating his head a little too much, but I like this kind of motion, and he could be, again, just looking away.
And I cannot let that happen. You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen.
I'm gonna bring his head up because we want to see the eyes. So it probably was just a little too much there. I think this is the right idea.
You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen. You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen. You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen.
So this is interesting. I think I'm gonna change the camera a little bit now. Seeing this, how far we've come, and this kind of story that we've given. I do love this. This leaning in is so nice. So let's really play with that. Yeah. So I'm just going to delete the keys, and that's okay. And I really want to do this like kind of little push in and really play, really see the emotion on his face.
They're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen. They're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen.
I don't want to ease into it, so I'm going to make it linear, just so we're not speeding up too much into the move.
You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen.
So that's feeling pretty good. We're just going to mess with the rotations now. Because right now we're kind of tilting up already when we shouldn't. So let's just bring this down. Over.
You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen. You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen. You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen.
Great. So I'm going to do a quick expression because I really want to play with this where he closes his eyes for this moment. I like this idea of, you know, furrowing those brows up. Bring those brows in just a little bit. That's nice, and then we can go. We can open up those eyes. And maybe with that, he actually lifts his head at that moment and looks her way. So it doesn't have to be a full rotation. We can do that a lot in the eye line. Alright, let's play with the sight line, because that's going to tell us any more info that we need to do. So as he looks around, he's going to be looking at the side of his eye here. This is feeling pretty natural, so let's go back. And this is where he has that realization moment, right? And we want him to look away. So before those eyebrows come up, let's have him dart. He's going to look down and away. This eye dart may be a little much. So let's have him look down like that much. That's feeling pretty nice. So let's just take a look. I'm going to mute the head and the spine, and let's just see what we had before. So this obviously still has our facial animation that we put in. But now with this on, much stronger. That's feeling pretty nice. Let's move on to the arms. So let's grab our IK controllers, our pole vectors, and our clavicles. Again, we'll label this. Oh. So overall, before I actually go and bookmark everything, I want to fix the clavicles just like in general, because I know I need to do an overall fix on it. That's feeling better. So if we just take a look from that to that, feels much better. Now we can go and bookmark. So the arms are bookmarked. Let's go in and fix our poses. And our poses aren't actually too bad when we're looking at the bookmarks. Some key moments, but nothing too crazy. It's feeling kind of nice. This arm doesn't actually feel too bad. It's maybe up a little bit. It's feeling kind of nice. Something that I want to do with the arm here is really lead with that elbow. I'm going to bring the clavicle up and have that elbow be that driving motion. Whoa. Instead of what we had before, which is kind of up past his head. If we get this one. And get a little bit more of that arc. Now, something that I'm going to do is really bring that arm out. I'm going to bring that clavicle up, out a little bit, and then can point. We're going to bring that pull vector. Let's make this really nice and straight, very clear. Nope. Didn't mean to do that.
You gotta get out. Those things out there?
It's a little too far outward, which is fine. Can easily bring that back. Main thing I wanted to do here is fix that clavicle. Just want to make sure that we're not getting just some weird shapes.
You gotta get out. You gotta get out. Those things out there?
So overall, this is feeling pretty nice. We're gonna fix this. We're just gonna make this a little bit stronger. Get that clavicle up. Bring this up a little bit. Make sure we're not like stretching too much. Stretch is okay, but we don't want it to be too crazy. Make sure that elbow is feeling natural. And we'll have to change the, actual hand pose, like the fingers. But that's okay for now. Okay, let's get elbow up. I'm trying to just drag that hand behind. Don't want it to snap, so I'm just...
Those things out there? Those things out there? Those things out there? Those things out there?
Just trying to fix this pop.
Those things out there?
That's better.
Those things out there? They're gonna get you. And I cannot. They're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen. You gotta get out of here. Those things out there? They're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen.
That's feeling pretty nice.
You gotta get out of here. Those things out there? They're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen.
So let's save. Arms are feeling good. Head is feeling good. Spine. I think the next step really is just getting these hand poses. So these hand poses are pretty nice, but sometimes they're just, when I capture with the gloves, they don't always retarget that great. So sometimes I'll just kill all of this. And I will do my own poses. So let's... I'm just going to create this so I can easily select these hands. So I'm just trying to do it to camera. Make sure I get a clean silhouette, which that's feeling kind of nice.
There's things out there? There's things out there? You gotta get out. There's things out
Good neutral.
things out there? Those things out there? You gotta get out of here. Those things out there? They're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen.
Okay. Selecting the other hand right now. Do our kind of same process. You gotta get out of here. Those things out there? They're gonna get you. You gotta get out of here. Those things out there? They're gonna get you. You gotta get out of here. Those things out there? They're gonna get you. He likes to point a lot.
You gotta get out.
That's feeling pretty nice. Hand-wise.
You gotta get out of here. Those things out there? They're gonna get you. Cannot.
You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you. And I cannot let that happen. But this is feeling pretty good right now, and I'm just gonna merge these layers and bake it down. And I don't know if there's too much that I would do right now. There might be stuff that I have to dial in once I start throwing in the lip sync. But honestly, this is feeling pretty good to me right now, pretty solid, and I think it's a great first pass. Thank you so much for checking out the video. I hope you got some insight into more of the acting side of things, not just action and fighting. There's definitely a different mindset when you're going through these shots, and it's really fun. It's really about story, and fighting could also be about story, but this is really mainly about it. But thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. You gotta get out of here. Those things out there, they're gonna get you, and I cannot let that happen.